Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to the quarterly update of Real Life Christian Church, and I'm starting this new thing where quarterly I will be sending out a video about some cool things of the overall health of the church, the opportunities we have, some events and why we're having them, some new initiatives, what I've been praying for, and some future hopes and dreams that I have. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to invite you to have a better understanding of what's going on. Oftentimes at church, we as staff can have a lot of conversations, and then you get the end processing of that all. And so instead, I want you to be processing this with us, praying with us, and hearing what's going on. So some of the stuff we're going to talk about is just hopes and dreams and thoughts that are kind of stirring, so that, again, once they're formulated, it's not like, oh, by the way, we're doing this, and you haven't journeyed with us in the thought process. So, first of all, let's start off with the church health. This has been a wild year, and a year ago, as we closed down our regular weekend meetings and moved to online platform, we were a bit worried about what the future held for everybody and what it held for the church, in particular with finances, and would we be able to hold on to staff? Are we going to have to let people go? What does that look like? And I just want to say, as we've said before in the weekend services, we are so grateful and so unbelievably, I don't even know the words to say, just thankful for what God has done, and the health of our church financially is excellent. And I just want to thank you for your faithful giving, for switching to online platforms, and for seeing the vision of what Real Life wants to do and is continuing to do in the midst of this, and giving. So we're great there. We're also we're overflowing with children during our first service. At our 9 o'clock service on a weekly basis, we have people on the waiting list. And so the health of people coming back into this space is quickly growing, and that's actually an area where we're a little unhealthy, is that we do need more volunteers, because each week we've got to tell people, I'm sorry, we're out of space. We really like to move to 2 services, so it's an area where we're healthy in terms of family and children coming, but we're unhealthy in terms of a need for volunteers in both student and children. Over the past 8 months, we have seen a number of people come to Real Life for the first time. And I was just looking at some names, and over 60 people do I now recognize as people who weren't coming before the pandemic, who are now regular attenders. So I know there's even more than that, but those are just names where I saw and I said, oh, these people have come in the pandemic, over 60 people, and that's not even counting kids, that's just adults in the main service. And so God is allowing us to be attractive to people, and I believe that's not because we're attractive, but because the gospel message is attractive. And so that's exciting. And just recently we had 10 kids go through our First Steps class, which is talking to them about faith and baptism. So the overall health of the church, I would say, is good, and we're excited about what God's done in the last year, what he's continuing to do, especially in light of having no idea what it would look like, and we're excited about that. Our area of unhealth, for sure, is in people responding to serving. And if you are serving, again, I just want to thank you. But we've been given these kids, these students, we've been entrusted with them, and right now we can, with the volunteers we have, we can only run one service. And so this is the opportunities time. The opportunities in serving inside the churches, we're really looking not for like 2 or 3 people to step up to serve in students and children, but for about 60 people to step up to serve on a regular basis in our students and our children's. We're going to get to more of that in just a little bit. But that is an area that is an opportunity, and an opportunity for growth. We also want to remind you that we always have an opportunity for grant money, as RL Serve is one of our big things that we like to serve as a big community and serve in a big way on a weekend. With coronavirus, we just can't do that, but we have grant money set aside for the needs that you see. And so be ever aware of opportunities to serve those around you, and know that we have resourced and dedicated a chunk of our budget so that you can resource opportunities and serve those around you. So those are two areas we can grow in, serving inside the church and serving outside the church, and being aware of that. Now, events that I want to talk to you about. Events. We have a few things coming up. As we said, we're about community, serving, and family. Over the next couple months, we have a few community events that we're really excited about, and the intentionality is not just to hang out. It's community with a mission. It's so that we can get to know one another, so that we can pour into one another, so that we can love one another, so that we can be that church that God has called us to be. And so on April 18th, after service, we're going to have a food truck here, and we're going to ask you to bring your lawn chairs, and we're going to hang out on the lawn. And after service, there's going to be a lunchtime, and bring, spike ball and cornhole and a blanket, and use this as an opportunity to get to know people. We know that coming into a large church gathering is slightly intimidating, and then being asked to then go sit in a home of somebody and get to know them more intimately is really intimidating. So we want to create these connecting events so that it's less intimidating, it's more of a relaxed environment, but not just so that we can gather with those we know and eat or hang out, but so that we can invite one or two other people to come sit with us, to get to know them, hear their story. So that's April 18th. Also, we will be doing this thing in the summer called First Fridays, which will be the first Friday of every month. We will be gathering at the beach. We're going to have our flags in the sand so you can know, oh, this is real life. And we're just going to hang out. Bring your dinner, bring a blanket, bring your bathing suit, bring your kids, let the kids interact with one another. But there's going to be a dedicated space for real life so that we can, once again, not just go to the beach and hang out, but hang out to get to know one another, to welcome one another, to be the community that we want to be. So those are a few fun events that are intentional for connecting, and we'd ask that you'd pray about attending and getting out of your comfort zone to connect with those around you. Also, a few weeks ago, we did a reverse application in the service, and the reverse application was help us get better. We know one of the areas that we're weak in is serving, as we talked about before. So how can we get better at equipping you and equipping us to be the saints to do the work of the ministry? And we took your feedback. We had a long staff meeting. We've been compiling a lot of those kind of bigger ideas to say what are kind of the main themes of helping us get better, and we've heard you. And so our response is, not all of this is in this response, but a few of the responses are, first of all, April 11th at 10:30, Mike, our student ministry pastor, is having a student serving meeting. April 11th at 10:30. One of the things we heard you say is, how do I get my students involved in serving? And so he's going to have a meeting to talk to your students, your middle school students and your high school students, about opportunities they have to serve. And then on the 18th, both Tina and Mike in their classrooms upstairs, both Tina and Mike, April 18th at 10:30. One of the things we've heard you say is, hey, I need to get a little bit more flavor of what this is going to be like and what I'm going to do. So we've responded. 10:30, April 18th, there's going to be an opportunity to find out more about serving in students and serving in children. It's just going to be a quick meeting with some information so that you can kind of ease your understanding into like, okay, this is what I'm going to be doing. Because one of the things in the reverse application was, hey, give me a little bit more information. From ask to signing up is a big step. So we want to ease that a little bit. So if you wrote that, this is for you. You say, oh, that's not for me, and you've written that, well, we're responding to the reverse application, and we hope that a lot of you will go to those meetings and we can get better in that area. Again, we're looking for 60 volunteers in order to go to 2 services. We've been entrusted with these kiddos. Let us not waste our talents. So those are a few things we have going on, as well as we're working on a website resource that gives information, kind of quick snippets of opportunities to serve outside of just the regular serving things that we always talk about, but what are some things that might be unique to your gifting and your talent set? So those are the events and opportunities we have coming up with our vision, community, serving, and family. Now, new initiatives for the fall, just want to let you know, is we have been working with, and I'm really excited about, working with our vision to really create disciples. And so I've been working on writing a book for 3 years, and it is in the publisher right now, and they're formatting it and working with it, and that will be available for purchase here pretty soon. But in the fall, we are going to start our discipleship program. We're setting up steps to be really clear of how we equip you to read the Bible, to engage in the spiritual disciplines, to engage in your spiritual gifts, to disciple others, and to evangelize to others. And so the book covers all those topics. And we're setting up a system as a church to get us through that so that we can be not just receivers of information, but disciple makers. And so our fall is going to look a lot different than usual so that we can kind of get the big group of us through that. And then our discipleship program will be regularly patterned into the schedule at our church. So we're really excited about that. Hopefully that excites you, because it's going to be a huge initiative within our church community. And then also in a little bit more sooner than that is, as I want to remind you, coming up after Easter, we're starting a Not Safe for Work series, which deals with hell, porn, abuse, and mental issues. And so we want to invite you to invite your friends to that. And we will set up the service so that we're walking through those with those unchurched people and understanding of what's going on in the service to be a little bit more comfortable with that. And we're tackling tough topics that we think they might be a little bit more intrigued with. So Not Safe for Work and our discipleship program in the fall is a few more things. Now, what have I been praying for us as a church? Through Lent, daily, I've been praying this for us. I've been praying for greater co-participation. As we talked about in the fall, we are restructuring our services with some of those corporate prayers, with even the lighting and some of the other elements to bring us to an understanding that we are participating in this together. The chairs are set up in more of a roundness so that we can know that it's not just me and my time, but it's us and our time worshiping and praising God. And so my heart is that we would be more and more eager to know that as we sing, as we listen, it's not just for us in our chair, in our space, but that we are coming into this space to co-participate, eagerly worship God, eagerly build up one another, eagerly look to who we can disciple. I'm also praying that as we get back to some sort of normal, that community will be entered into with a vigor that says, yes, we've missed this, and we want to let people know we're so glad they're here, and we want to know them and love them well. I'm praying for somebody to step up to lead a young adults, 18 to 20 something group. I have a heart for that, and I'm praying that somebody will also have a heart for that and want to establish a small group of young adults and grow that group into a community so that we can serve them. And so we're not just, hey, thanks for coming, you're in student ministries and now you've graduated, go to main service. When you're looking for a community of your age, we don't really have anything for you. I really would like that to be part of our church community. I'm praying for a storyteller, somebody who's interested in videography and would love to capture the stories of people. We'll be sharing some stories coming up in May, but I'd love to have that as a regular part of our community, of just sharing what God is doing in our community, in the lives of people. Big stories, small stories, stories from 5-year-olds to stories from 99-year-olds. I'm praying that there'd be somebody that step up that's really interested in videography and would do that. Growing passion for serving. Again, we're not great at some of that, or I would say we have a grand opportunity. And so I'm praying for the hearts of each one of us to be eager to serve. And then on top of that, I'm praying for our discipleship program, and that it would just launch us into being disciple makers, as well as diversity and intermixing of ages, intermixing of races, intermixing of the grander story of God's kingdom. And so those are a few things I'm praying about. And lastly, for future dreams. Recently, as I've been praying for our church, I continue to pray that we would be debt-free. We have about $2.5 million loan on this building, and I'm just praying that God would do a miracle and that we could pay that down quickly, because one of the big things that I have future hope in is being debt-free, and then building a student space off the side of our building as we are maxing out classrooms. Even when we go to 2 services, classrooms are full. I would love, and this is just a dream, there's no plans for it now, but I would love to give our current space to our children's ministry and let them use what our student space is now. I would love our offices to be either made into more student or children's room, or this could be a meeting place for adults during service, because we know that sometimes Sunday morning is the best time to meet, so we could do that. And then my dream would be to create a student center that allows our student ministry to have a dedicated space where they can really be more rambunctious and have more events and have a greater space, because even they are maxing out their space. So God is blessing us with that. And those are some of my crazy future dreams, but I just want to let you know that's what's stirring on my heart. So if any of what I said in terms of future dreams or opportunities resonates with you, pray about it. See what God's calling you to do, and then respond. So that's our quarterly update for Real Life Christian Church. Thank you so much for listening. I want you to know I love you, and I'm glad that you're here. And I do pray above this all that we would make Jesus greater than everything.